Hello and welcome to Two Therapists on a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
Two Therapists on a Microphone is a podcast show about mental health, relationships, and social issues that personally affect you. We broadcast live every Monday evening at 7 o'clock p.m. on the Our Black Media Network.
Harrison and I are two licensed psychotherapists with decades of experience, and we still want to hear from you. We had a couple of questions last week, so please send us more by visiting our website, www.twotherapist.com, and click on Ask Two Therapists at the top.
Absolutely, because we enjoy your letters,
Oh, yeah, they were fun.
your emails. That's what we're here to do. We started this show because we wanted to give different perspective on some of the issues that people are having. There are other shows out there, a very famous one. She's really good. I'm not going to knock her, but I don't. We want you guys to be able to relate to us, and we understand what you're talking about. You don't have to explain things to us. Worried if we're going to judge you. But we'll tell you if you're doing something stupid.
Oh, we will. Without hesitation.
So today is hot topics. We have some hot topics that Dr. Aisha and I like to bring up. We don't tell each other what those topics are, but we're going to talk about it from a mental health or social justice standpoint and give some suggestions on the matter and how we can possibly offer some help. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to go first, Dr. Aisha.
Okay, I'm trying to hear this. I found it.
Oh, you want me to start?
And I couldn't find it before, but I found it now.
Okay.
So before we got on, actually today, Harrison and I were talking about our colleges, and some of you who've kept up with me for a while know that I have a child who will be graduating this year. Thank the Lord.
Hallelujah.
And she will go to college. And she's very much interested in going to an HBCU. And for those of you who have no idea what an HBCU is, that is a historically Black college, and HBCUs are historically Black college and universities. So the cluster in which we live is not a historically Black cluster. So I'll start by saying she's
That's
really
high
interested.
school.
Right. She's very much interested in being around more Black people, feeling like she has more support, and just celebrating her people. Now, here's the story that I read today. It kind of caught me off guard, and that I get what some people were saying for the pros and the cons, but now you're all like, what is she talking about? So there is the first Latina queen at a historically Black university. Did you see that, Harrison?
I did.
Okay. And the school is Coppin State. I'm not as familiar with that.
I think it's in Maryland.
Is it Maryland? Okay. Oh, it sure is. It sure is. So her name is Kylie Perez. And it looks like Kylie had been Miss Sophomore, Miss Junior, and now she is the queen of this HBCU. And
She sounds popular.
Well, here's the thing. For those of you who don't know anything about HBCUs, being the queen is big. Like,
That's correct.
And national magazines, she kind of go on tour.
You represent the university.
For like life. That's something you get to say forever. I was the queen of my HBCU. You get these huge crowns. People will style you.
I would say the university queen at a HBCU is more popular than an SGA president.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like being an SGA president is, I won't say nothing, but just know that very few people know who the SGA president is.
I agree with that statement, but they know the queen.
They do. Sometimes they know the queen more than they know more about the queen than they do about the actual president of the university. And in this case, we have a Latina who and I'm not an Afro Latina is what
she's not mixed.
She is not. She is not Afro Latina. She's
Latina.
Very straight hair, fair skin. I mean, I'm looking at her. She's cute.
Yeah, she's cute.
She's pretty, and according to what I'm reading, she's quite accomplished. She does service. She has friends. She has great grades. I also read right, very popular. And here's the thing, though. We can say she's popular, but what I also read on here is that she ran unopposed. So, since the
that says a lot.
I know, I know. Now, I don't know if she ran on a post because everybody was like, "Oh no, she's great." You know what? I said her name wrong. It's not Kylie, it's Kaylin. My apologies, Miss Perez. But people are like, that role should be reserved for a black woman because what you don't you
No,
don't.
go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. I don't want to interrupt.
People are saying that that role should be reserved for a black woman because there are already plenty of spaces where black people, especially black women, are ignored and dismissed. And this is the one place where we always knew, this is just ours.
Yeah.
Of course, the president, the SGA president, and the president of the university, they support her, and she's got some students supporting, and other students who are like, "Oh, I'm so happy." Somebody else, all over social media, anywhere else, said something about this. And at the same time, like she ran unopposed though, so like you don't like her, but you didn't run either. So what do you think about that, Harrison?
I'm like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Now I must admit, I did not attend HBCUs. I'm not
Mhm.
against them or anything. I went to all black elementary and high schools, and I remember the homecoming queen at Douglas High School in Atlanta. That was a big deal. And,
Mhm.
and the queens at the other schools too. So I understand that environment. I had friends who went to HBCUs, my parents, other relatives, cousins, and I would go hang out with some friends at HBCU. So I understand all of that. However, there have been some PWIs, predominantly white institute universities. They've elected black homecoming queens. They call them
Mhm.
homecoming queens.
Mhm.
So I thought it was wonderful. It shows us the diversity that exists at HBCUs. And apparently, this woman was well respected, and popular. And I didn't know she ran unopposed, but
Mhm.
then I did see some of the comments from Black Twitter.
Yeah, just ugly.
I agree, and the school made that decision. The students who wanted to vote made that decision, and
Mhm.
apparently she was so popular and pretty and outgoing, no one wanted to oppose her. And so I don't have a problem with it, but it does give me the impression that there are some black people who are feeling threatened, like you mentioned, HBCUs. That's our place. And that's
Mhm.
a lot of popular celebrities went there, and enrollment is up for
That's right.
HBCUs. And there's this feeling that it's beginning to be, some aspects of it is going to be taken away from us. Maybe that it's a sign, of things that are to come. I don't know. People were just sort of upset and insulted that the school voted for a Latina. You know, um, if a black woman wanted to run, she could have run.
Well, and so that's my biggest thing that I'm thinking about. This particular year, I've always been the team mom, I'll say, from my daughter's volleyball teams, her club teams. And this year I said I didn't want to do it. And the new team mom does things like, I mean, I'm not knocking what she does. Maybe I am. They have team outings at like Denny's or someplace that's 15 minutes away from wherever a
Okay,
tournament is. And at first I used to get upset, but then I stopped and I said, "Whoa, buddy, you didn't want to be team mom.
that's
So
right.
you don't get to complain.
That's right.
You just deal with
You had
whatever
the
the
opportunity.
I definitely could have throw my name back in the hat, and I probably would have gotten a position because I mean I'm killing the team mom game, but I didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
So now, we show up to Denny's
yeah.
and we drive 15 minutes away to wherever the outing is. And I don't complain. I don't like it, but I don't complain.
That's a great
How are you
analogy.
going to the school and you're complaining and you didn't run? If you felt like, you weren't popular enough, is there someone else that you wanted to get behind and you could have been their campaign manager and you could have donated
Yeah.
to, I mean, I don't
The
really know how that works.
sororities could have
Yeah.
got together and nominated their own
Okay. Okay.
homecoming queen. There are a lot of options, for people doing that. But the students, I mean, it was a fair election. I mean, no one's accusing anyone of fraud.
Right. No one stole an election. She got this fair and square, and no one ran against her.
Yeah.
And
So
my
black
other
people are
thought
mad.
is right, right.
Black people are mad when some of them on Black Twitter. That's where I saw the stuff. You
Hmm.
know, they're not even associated. with the university. They didn't attend there. They're not connected with it. They go to
Or
other
some of them didn't attend anybody's university, like those football fans. I won't say which school I dislike the most, but they love to dog everybody out, and they don't have one credit hour at anybody's school.
All right.
But you want to talk about somebody else at their school.
Yeah, but I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh no, no, it's okay. But my other thought was, I don't know if it's appropriate to say this. I'm gonna go with it anyway.
Go ahead. Go ahead. This
At
is the
least
internet.
at least she's Latina. At least it wasn't a white woman.
Now, what kind of message would that have sent?
Right.
What I also want to just add to that, I've talked about this in other arenas to groups of people. We gotta learn to pick and choose what we're going to get upset about. There are a lot of things, lots of challenges that we have to face, and sometimes we overreact to some things that can be trivial. The school voted for she. I didn't know she was the only one. They apparently like her. She's popular. She chose a HBCU, and she is excelling. She's doing well.
She is a woman of color.
And she's a woman of color. Hallelujah for diversity. For everybody out there who promotes diversity, that's what it looks like.
Right. So why not? Why can't we honor, respect, and cheer each other on? Like I'm all about loving my people, but I'm also about helping all diverse and underserved communities.
Yeah.
Not that now, don't get me wrong, my people for me, that's what I'm gonna serve first. But
Same
I'm
here.
also gonna serve anyone else who needs to be served. And it kind of, for those of you who might be like me, a comic book geek, if you watch Wakanda Forever, I think that was one of the things that was there. You had these I'll say these Hispanic people,
Yes.
and you had these black people, and they were working against each other,
fighting, killing each other.
When if they could come together, they could just go ahead and wipe everybody else out if they wanted to.
Because the white folks were at home poolside, enjoying themselves, but the Central American Latinos and the Black Africans were fighting each other. I'm with you on that. If we can just get together and stop fighting each other, we can be much stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read that the other day. I saw that, I think it's great that she decided to go to the HBCU. She's excelling. She's doing well. And she's so popular that the school believed in her and wanted her to represent them as their queen. And I support that. Why wouldn't I support that?
Well, we could take it one step further, not even say that they wanted her to represent them, but that they accepted her representing them. Because one thing she said in the article I read was that it never occurred to her, or it never crossed her mind to step down. And I'm reading not that, and I'm thinking, if you did step down, who's going to step up?
Okay.
There's nobody else there who was running against you. So we're just going to leave the school queenless for the year.
Okay. Just like we told the Republicans and Donald Trump during that last national election, the votes are in. We voted, and it's crystal clear. We decided to vote for someone else. Joe Biden. Regardless of what you think happened, this is what we voted for. And I understand a lot of people are unhappy about that, just like some of us were unhappy 5-6 years ago. But we got to accept it. We got to move forward. And I encourage people to do the same thing about this university queen. That the school accepted and they like her. Why are you mad? Is the question.
25%, again, according to what I've read, 25% of enrollment at HBCUs are from students who are not, who do not identify as Black anymore, which is up over 10% from what it was in the 70s, I guess, or 80s. Yep. That's great, I think. I have various reasons for thinking that. It's still there's still this element of safety and being around a lot of Black people, but then there's also an element of learning to engage with people who are different from you. And if somebody else who doesn't have any type of financial assistance wants to spend their money to go to an HBCU and give the money to the HBCU, why not accept that either? We're just going to try to keep everybody else out of our schools now, because keep in mind that the H is for historically. That means back in the day. That means it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like to me some of these other individuals who are not black have discovered something special about HBCUs.
Hmm.
And they decided to be a part of that environment. I don't know, maybe they like black folks, they grew up in a black neighborhood, or a boyfriend, girlfriend was black. I don't know, or they just have never been around black people and they want to experience that. I don't know, I'm speculating, but they decided to go there because there's something special there. I'm happy for them. I'm not mad.
I mean, I'm looking at this baby. I don't see any evidence of cultural appropriation. She looks like she's just being her. I mean, it doesn't look like she's trying to be something she's not.
Yeah,
It's
I,
just
I
different.
suggest to black folks save that energy, for other things like Tyree Nichols,
Okay.
and police officers that beat the shit out of him,
Hmm.
and he died. Save your energy for that type of those type of bad things that happen, because we're going to need it. We need you for
Yeah.
those situations. This is nothing. This is nothing. Save your energy. And for the next time we have to go out there and march again. Save your energy for the next national election or your state
Yeah.
election. Instead of getting upset at this school. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a small school, so who knows? Perhaps because of this,
She earned it.
their enrollment of Latino, Hispanic people will increase, and
Yep.
that might be what they want as well. We don't know what their goals are, and honestly, it's none of my business.
Yeah. So
So,
she earned it. I'm happy for her. Hey.
yeah,
So I have a couple of small hot topics and maybe
okay,
one big one. The first one I want to bring up is I mentioned this before briefly in another podcast. Ricky Smiley.
mm-hmm.
I follow him. I think he's funny.
Yeah,
Can't catch the radio show all the time, but I still like him. He's cool. He's a funny dude. He likes his family and everything. And his son died
yeah,
recently, and he is posting daily
okay,
on social media daily, and he has posted his breakdowns, videos. Well, you can tell he is unraveling.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes 2 or 3 videos a day, and then he'll show some fun stuff. And it looks like he never. The funeral was, I believe, a week or so ago.
Okay,
I don't believe he ever took off work. It seems as though he never stopped
really,
working. He except for the holiday, President's Day, he worked. He continued, and at the same time, posting videos of him crying, upset, of course. And he first announced it. The next day was horrible for him. He said it was tougher for him to deal with it. And now he is still posting. I just looked at it. He said he's having a tough day with things. Let me see if I can share it.
okay.
If I can, I forgot how to share.
Well, while you're looking that up, I mean, I have not seen. So I don't watch a whole lot of TV, and I don't follow him on social media. But I do remember when his son died, and I saw the initial post when he told everyone, and then I saw a post maybe a few days later where it was showing like real grief. I did not know that he was posting every day. And almost multiple times a day. But I think Harrison, might have been a few years ago. You and I talked about the way people emote, is what I'll say, on
Yeah.
social media. And okay, so you got it pulled up. Let's see.
Yeah, but
Let
go
me
ahead and
see.
finish. Go ahead and finish.
No, just you have to or I understand that for a lot of people, social media is it's our real life. It's where we find a lot of our support. For people who are bullied, is where we find
Yep.
a
Yep.
lot of our people who pull us down. And
Yeah.
people are saying it's great that he's showing
Yep.
what's real, and at the same time I'm wondering if what I'm about to see is going to make me concerned.
This is
And
not one of the bad ones. This is the
okay,
one from yesterday, I believe. And I'm only going to play like 30, 45 seconds of it
okay,
just to give you a taste of it.
um, having a real hard time returning phone calls and text messages because it takes all day to do the phone calls that I have to do. I have to do a lot of Zoom calls because a lot of things got behind and I had to cancel a lot of business that I had to do. And now I'm doing conference calls and Zoom calls that got pushed back after everything. And so if you text me or if you have called me and I haven't returned the text or returned the call, I apologize. And then sometimes, even when I do get a moment, I just can't think. Sometimes I just need to get off a Zoom call, have to lay down and take a nap, or just go sit in the closet and just feel what I feel. Or I just get on the phone and have a conversation with my mother, who I've been talking to every single day.
Okay.
You know.
So there are a few things I heard there. And that is almost on one hand, you got lack of support, maybe in some areas where I would hope his business partners and colleagues would jump in and take some of that stuff off his plate. And then on the other hand, you got that I'm gonna call it over support. I know for me, and I'm not just talking about when somebody passes away, but when you have something going on, it can be irritating for people to call and tell you, just checking on you, just checking on you. How you doing? How you do you need something? If I need
It
something, I
comes
will
from a
let you
good
know
place,
what I
though.
need. Right. But what I need you to do sometimes is leave me alone. Even if I'm not working, I don't have time to keep texting and calling and responding to make you feel better because it will make you feel better to talk to me. I don't have time to make you feel better too. I got my own stuff to worry about. And then on the other hand, who is harassing this man and all these Zoom calls, and who is not taking care of his business, whatever shows he had to do? Can somebody else do the shows? Can somebody else do the meetings? I know, and where I work, when one of my colleagues had something happen and they could not finish out the semester, we all jumped in. We
Mm-hmm.
finished
Mm-hmm.
teaching their classes. We finished
Yep.
doing their grading. It didn't count as we didn't get credit for doing those
Yep.
classes. You know, we
Yep.
didn't get time off, and we just wanted to make sure that they got paid and all of their stuff was taken care of without them having to worry about it. We took out their advisees. Why is somebody jumping in and taking his stuff? I know he has plenty of comedian friends. Some of them are his frat brothers. Can y'all do some of these shows for? I don't know if you want. I mean, they probably won't do them for
How
free, but let him
about
get paid off of them.
taking a break?
Well, and so that's another thing, though. I know that sometimes when a lot is going on, it can help to work to keep your mind off of stuff. When you want to break down, you want to break down. And when you want to stay busy, you stay busy. So I wonder if he's finding himself needing to stay busy in order to not go somewhere his mind doesn't want to go. I get that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, because he mentioned that, and that was just one of the most recent video.
Okay.
I just saw it yesterday and just thought I'll bring it up. There are a couple of others where it's obvious he's unraveling. He's describing what happens when he unravels.
Mhm.
So in this latest video, but the things that pop up in my mind, like you mentioned, I'm glad he's talking about it. And when his son died, that's horrible. And burying a child is
Yeah.
tough. From someone who buried a parent, that was tough by itself. But we should never have to bury a child.
Mm-mm.
But the question is, how much do we share on social media? I didn't understand the purpose of the daily updates and then exposing his grief. It was hard to watch sometimes as he describes what happened to him. Sometimes he has to take a nap and he goes to the closet, I believe, to cry. And people in comment sections, please go see a counselor. That's the part that I was just a little bit confused about. And I was about to do something I've never done, get on there and put my little 2 cents. Hey, man, I know you're going through a lot, give me a call. I'm in Atlanta, but you need to talk to somebody, get the hell off social media and take care of you. So the question is, what's the line? I don't know. Because I'm not like that. I'm not on social media like that. I understand this contributes to his brand,
Mm-hmm.
which ultimately contributes to his revenue. But what's the line?
So at this point on social media, is there a line?
I don't know.
So I mean, like we see people get when was it Takeoff, the amigos that got shot, that there's
Mhm.
those videos were posted. We see people get shot online, we see dead bodies online, we stream funerals online.
That's true.
And in
That's true.
this case, it's almost sounds to me like it's journaling. So I'm trying to see the therapeutic part in this,
I see.
is that it is a verbal video journal, number one, which feels good for him. In addition to that, is somewhat, and I'm pulling strengths here, I'm just grasping at straws, to see a black man show his emotions
Yep.
on social media.
Yep.
There are other people who are saying to themselves, I too have cried in the closet.
Yep.
I, have also felt alone. I also have worked through grief, and that's the way I grieved. And look at this man. He's doing the exact same thing I did, but he's able to show people that what I did in the way that I handled my grief was not abnormal.
Yeah. I can see that. I see that. I guess I'm old school. Get some help.
Oh,
Update us when you are making progress with your recovery.
well, so that's the thing. I imagine, or I'm hoping that in the future he will.
I hope
And so
so.
we will get to see this down. We're hitting rock bottom, and then what he does with that.
Yeah.
Maybe next he'll
That's
say,
what I'm
I
waiting
did
on.
my first session with my counselor, and now that I've been doing 3 months with a counselor,
I would
and
love
now I'm
that.
going to start this foundation. And years down the line, people are going to say, this is what it looks like in the beginning. And
Yeah.
if you can hold on, if you don't give up, if you can hold on a few more years, it's still going to hurt, but this is what it can look like if you keep
Yeah.
holding on.
Yeah, and I didn't think about the part. You made a good point. This is like journaling form,
Hmm.
or like a video journal form. It's tough to watch, and I am old school, and I hope he's getting some help. He hasn't mentioned it at all
Yeah.
whatsoever. Seeing a professional, and I would love to see him provide us with updates instead of hearing him unraveling on social media. So I
Well, so,
invite you to go check him out. There's more than one. There's a
well,
lot of
I
them.
want to watch, but I also know that he has a lot of friends and people he's in contact with who are great therapists.
Yep.
A few celebrity therapists who he put in the
Yeah.
game,
Yep.
in the
He
Atlanta
sure did.
area.
He
And
sure
I'm
did.
sure, they might be reaching out to him too, and he hadn't had time to respond to their text messages
Yeah.
or
All of
whatever it
this
is.
is new to me.
Mhm.
And I just Googled because I forgot his name the time. John Legend and his wife, Chrissy Teigen,
Yes.
with their child. She was pregnant, gave birth early, birth, and the child died.
Hmm.
And horrible situation. And they posted a photo on social media of them in the hospital room
Yes. Well,
holding what looked like is the baby wrapped
mhm.
up. And I don't know what to do about that. Like you said, everybody grieves differently. That is so new to me to see that, and I question the reasons for posting it like that. I understand letting other women know that she's gone through it. I didn't understand the photo.
Yeah, because see, that's the part where when you get to photos like that, to me, those things could be triggering for other people. And that's where, so you had the question earlier, what's crossing the line? And to
Yeah,
me,
I don't know.
that's where the line is crossed, where I scroll up and I mean, you don't know what triggers other people, but what we do know is miscarriage or children who have passed away can be
Stillborn.
right triggering for people who have not even had that experience. So
Yeah.
that's where the line is crossed. And if it's a picture of you looking sad or you're crying, that's one thing, but a picture of you holding a child who has passed away,
It
that
was a sad photo
that
too.
does something to me. And I have not had to have that happen in my life, and even the thought of that
Yeah.
does something to me.
Yep. So, I guess that's the issue. I hope Ricky gets some help. I really
Mhm.
do. Because now a lot of people are commenting in the comments, and he's telling them to comment, and it's just hard to watch. It's just putting everything out there on social media. I don't know the line. I
It's
understood
an open conversation. I think
it
it's
is.
something where when we look at things that have happened recently and go back and see people's social media posts, we're learning a lot from it. So I can say
Yes.
that.
Yep.
We
Yep.
think about Stephen Boss and him dying by suicide, and
Twitch.
that beauty queen, yes, Twitch,
Yep.
and the beauty queen who died. What
I
people
remember.
did was they looked back at their social media posts,
Yep.
and people learned something from that.
Piece things
Being
together.
happy and dancing and all of that does not equal happiness. So it would be different if we didn't hear anything
Yeah.
from Ricky Smiley. People would be like, well, but then you still see him doing comedy, and you hear him on the radio, and
Mhm.
then people would just assume he's happy. And what he's saying is, no,
He's not.
I'm just working. That's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
This is reality. And for all those other people, they tried to put out, them working as their reality. And he's saying that's not my
So
reality.
he's been authentic.
Yes.
he's revealing himself, and I appreciate that. I just don't know what's the line, and I'm talking from my perspective,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where I thought it was too much, and I would rather you go get some help and let us know about your progress with that. So. And then it just also reminds me I'm a part of a different generation. I'm part of Generation X, you know, and I didn't grow up with the internet. I got my first email after college. So a lot of this is new to me, but I guess I have to make some adjustments. That's a lot of oversharing, and I hope it is benefiting some people.
It's
So
it's a lot of sharing that is too much for some people. See how I reframed that?
you did. I hope he's getting some help. I really
Yeah,
do.
I do too.
But maybe this is therapeutic for him and other people who do something similar. I didn't think about that part, and it's like journaling for him because he's doing it on a daily basis.
Hmm.
But sometimes he has good days, and other times he's not.
Well,
Um,
and then let's think about when, just like we were talking about with the beauty queen and people not minding their business. But one of the great things about social media is if you don't want to see it, you can
yep,
always unfollow or
yep,
not see them.
yep.
And people who feel like
Keep
it's helping
scrolling.
them, they can hit the follow button and put them in their favorites.
Yep,
That's one of the great things about social media is I can block that person, never see anything they're going through again if I don't want to.
absolutely. So thank you. So I got another hot topic I want to ask you about. I watch a lot of podcast shows
Okay.
and some bloggers. I like watching them. They're fun, silly stuff, celebrity stuff, and then some serious stuff too. And there's an issue that has popped up quite a bit
Hmm.
over the past year or so. And I want to ask you, what do you know about passport bros?
I have never heard of that one. What is that? And I know about a whole lot of reality shows, Passport Bros.
Passport bros is a term that is being used to describe mostly, well, the shows I'm watching, black men who have decided to get a passport, travel to other countries with the intent of meeting a woman and hopefully falling in love and bringing her back to the
Oh,
United
you know what? I
States.
have heard about that.
They use the term passport bros, and I guess it's nothing new. I remember hearing the term mail order bride.
Yeah, people been doing that for years.
The white folks, white men have been doing it
Uh-huh.
for a long
Well,
time.
and men who go to war and bring back a foreign wife, they've been doing that.
And so brothers are doing it now. I don't give a damn. You do what makes you happy. And there's some popular countries: Dominican Republic, Colombia, Thailand, Brazil. Those are the ones that I have heard about. But apparently, a lot of sisters are mad, and they are
Not this one.
I know not you. I know that. But on these shows, it's the black women who are criticizing passport bros and judging them and ostracizing them with some harsh language about deciding to go outside of the country and calling them names and things like that. That's the part that I was a little bit confused about because with Kevin Samuels, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He talked about some of the dynamics within for black women and black men, and a high value man, and and women and things like that. And a lot of black men have received some criticism. They used the term simp to describe black men who care about their woman and takes care of her, like many of our grandfathers did, and they called them simps for doing that. And but now some of those black men have decided to exercise their options outside of the country.
Black women should do the same thing.
And that's so I wanted to get your take on that because I the people talking was a lot of black women, and a couple of them, the guys wanted to jump into the conversation. I don't. What is your take on that? I'm like, what are you mad about? You didn't want
Well,
them anyway.
let me tell you, because a lot of these guys who I've seen who have gone and gotten women overseas are not guys that I want. So
Okay.
I've had a guy who I say date by dated, I mean we went on one date, and
Gotcha.
he
That's
said that
dated.
we went on one date, and he said this was his first time having gone on in years having gone on a date with an American black woman that
Okay.
he dated a lot of Nigerian women, one from Ghana, a lot of African women,
Yep.
and some Dominican women. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, cool. And I didn't ask any more questions about it because it wasn't a big deal to me. But he made sure that he wanted to let me know that these women, they cleaned and they
Yep.
honored their man. They did such and such. And I was
They're
like, oh,
accommodating, is what I was
okay.
told.
But also, I'm looking at him like you about 5'7", and I mean you ain't
So,
rich, so.
so you didn't want them.
I'm only there because I was hungry.
Yeah.
So I knew it wasn't going anywhere anyway. So
So there wasn't a connection.
I mean, you're thinking that you're doing something, you're harming black women by going out and dating in another country. You're not what I want. And some people have to realize that if he's not into you, that's okay. You need to determine whether or not you're actually into him. If
Yeah.
he feels like he's getting what he needs over there, do you even feel like you could give him what he needs that he's getting over there? Because I'm telling you, I can't do it.
And that's the issue that I
I
saw.
will never bow down to you and wash your feet and cook
I
every
doubt
day.
you ever will. But that's what some of the guys have communicated that they really like the accommodating women. Philippines, that's another one too,
Mhm.
because the black women were criticizing, making fun of Filipino women. That's what it was. And then a lot of Filipino women in the United States came back to describe who they are. They do speak English. They come here for education and things like that. But they talked about how they treat their men, and the black men who are going over to meet these women, they want a certain type of woman. And if you can't find it here and you got money to go to another country, as someone who's traveled abroad, you have too, it ain't cheap. And if you want to do that, go ahead. I didn't understand the backlash from the women who made it clear, just like you did, that they didn't want them.
Right. What's the problem?
They make fun of them, call them names, and just like you mentioned, homeboy, you just didn't have a connection with them, so the relationship didn't take off. So he's free to go to do whatever he wants to do. Why would you be mad?
He was trying to convince me that he was worthy, and I had already made up my mind before I showed up to the restaurant that he wasn't. So I don't get it. There was a whole TV show where this woman, it was a reality show too. She took a lot of black women to Italy, and some of them found great men and got married, and they never thought that they would. It never crossed their minds to do that. We're doing great for ourselves now. Go overseas and find you a man who will worship you, because I've dated outside of my race, and I'm telling you, they will.
Okay, and that's a great transition to the other half of that topic. What has also been exposed by some of these passport bros and other guys who didn't like the backlash. I don't understand the backlash. If you don't want to, let him go do whatever hell he wants to do. Why are you criticizing him? If he wants to go, he got the money, let him go. Why are you mad?
Over here wearing a fade and shoes you don't want him to be seen in when you go out. Why do you care?
Yes, that's the question. But now there's also well, I'm not going to say the term they use, but passport women.
I'm
Now,
assuming it rhymes with bros.
yes.
Okay.
And
See, just
there's
disrespectful when we do the same thing.
several reports of Black women. I didn't know anything about this. Going to Jamaica, of all places, with the intent of having sex with some of the tour guides. And there
Now, if
are,
you're gonna go, don't go with a tour guide. Come on
no, they
now.
go there and meet a tour guide. And there are videos. I forgot the river that goes through a part of Jamaica. And you can get on a little bamboo raft and the tour guides. There are videos showing the women having sex um, with the Jamaica men, and other videos of Black women arguing with the tour guides because he didn't want to give her a certain type of sexual pleasure. He wasn't orally inclined, and
She
she
just found the
decided
wrong hole.
to videotape herself. It's out there too, arguing with him, and chose another tour guide. So apparently, there's a sex tourism industry.
Really?
hmm that for Black women, and they're not ashamed of it either, who go there to have sex with some of the Jamaican men, because there are now reports that some of the men are actually underage.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
and so that's how all of this blew up. And I discovered, where can I find this at? It's all over the internet.
You want the
Ellis.
videos? Or are you trying to find you a Jamaican man over
The
there?
videos are out there.
Okay.
They're out there. I heard about them from the podcasts that I watch, and I just Googled it, and there it was. Several videos right there on the edge of the river. I was like, oh my. And
I mean, you don't even want to take them back to a hotel room. We just outside with the mosquitoes and stuff.
So apparently, it, like as I was mentioning, there's a sex tourism industry there, and it's typically associated with guys going places to have sex with different people. Sometimes women, I guess, sometimes men, whatever. But this is
But
now
things are equal.
Now things are
Very
equal.
good.
And let me pull this up so I can just make sure I'm being accurate. What I also
Look,
heard,
don't pull up any videos on
I'm
here.
not, I'm not. So I'm just going to read something. The country of Gambia in Africa is fed up with European women, particularly from the UK, who are coming there to treat sexual pleasure with their African boys.
Yeah.
And so that has blown up recently, where they're sending out warnings. And it's a particular city on the coast of Gambia, where a lot of women from Europe and England are going for the same reason that Black women apparently are going to Jamaica. And so there's a lot of evidence for it. There's a lot of receipts for it. And you can Google it as soon as we get off the show. Take a look at. I'm not lying. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I think that these women are getting their needs met the way men have been getting their needs met for years. I'm not
Men
judging.
have been doing it for years.
Right, right. It's not for me, but I'm not gonna judge you, especially when you just catching up for lost time, honestly. So but I will say, keep it classy. Get a hotel room.
I was amazed. There are videos and through TikTok, and people post them on Instagram
or something.
And the podcast shows. They show the video, and you can see the name. You can go to the person's TikTok thing or Instagram page, and you can see it. And it's clear they're having sex, and it's multiple videos. So I'm surprised. I think it's a hell of a lot to go through to go have some sex.
Well,
you can find sex anywhere.
If they can't, I think another. I'm always pulling positives here. Another great thing about finding
pull real deep. That's
okay,
a deep one.
Another great thing about finding your man whore somewhere else is that he can't pop up at your house.
I see.
So you
that
don't
would be a positive.
Want somebody close to you who could, find you and show up and cock block and all of that. That's not what you want. If you can afford to go somewhere else, get what you need from him, and then leave him over there, leave him over there.
All you guys listening, just Google passport hoes, and you will see some of these discussions. And
then check your judgment and stop calling them hoes.
That's what they term they use. And Google Gambia and sex tourism. It's the women. who are
Well,
going there.
and then it's white women. That's
Those are
white
white
women
women.
over there.
Those are
Okay.
white women. And so the thing that made me want to bring this up, ask you about it, what you think about it. So if the passport bros are leaving the US to go meet other women because they're tired of black women, the passport women are leaving the US because they're tired of black men.
Yeah.
What does that say about black relationships? That's the question. We're it's like we're all trying to get away from each other and go somewhere else to
Well,
find what we're looking for. What do you think about that?
I think that again, you know how we were talking about there's so many things that are exposed on social media. I think all that is showing or all that it says is that I mean, I love black love. I've talked
I
about
do
that
too.
before. But I also know that back in the day, black love wasn't exactly what everybody thought it was. And I know plenty of people who had, cousins, because granddaddy was with your grandma and granddaddy was also with somebody else's grandma. And a lot of
Yes.
men had multiple families. I know
Yep.
men who just back in the day, you could just walk away and leave your family. Nobody could Google you or find your tax
Yep.
returns to get child support from you. Go on about your life. So that doesn't mean that the stuff wasn't happening before. It just means that it's exposed more now. I know white women were going to Africa sexing up men back in the day anyway.
I didn't know
And
anything
this
about that.
and they're slaves too. That's why you had that whole the Mandingo warrior thing
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah.
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 So white women been using or paying or well some of them were paying, yeah, but they've been using black men for sex too. It's
Yep.
been happening. We just didn't have the internet back then. Again, black women catching up for lost time. We catching up with the black men. We catching up with the white women.
I see. I see.
Way
But
to catch up, women.
I know, but they're doing it so much that Gambia put out a press release, for God's sake. Stop coming. You could Google it. Stop coming here, picking up all the men,
Take them back with you and then send them back.
So it just made me concerned. It may not be a huge issue. I just read a lot about it. I heard a lot of discussions about it from
Mhm.
different places. It just makes me a little bit concerned about black relationships and families.
I've been
Marriages
concerned about them.
marriages are already low. The rate of marriage, divorces are high.
Mhm.
There are more black people unwed. And I think I read a report that 45% of black men do not have children. So, and then don't forget about the people who decide to date and marry outside of their race. There's nothing wrong with that. But where does that leave the black folks?
Well,
That's
if
the question.
45% of men don't have children, what it
Black
leaves
men.
is 45% of black men don't have children. Then that means there are a lot less black men who aren't paying child support or who aren't abandoning their children. So,
OMG.
said it.
Well, it tells me a lot of black men have not found the person who they want to have a child with. They haven't found the person to marry, regardless of what color, ethnicity,
And
or race.
you're making better decisions. That's what all I'm saying is you're making better decisions. It's a better decision for you to not have children than for you to have them and not take care of them and not be involved in their
I
lives.
agree with that. I agree with that.
Or
I
even
just
for you to be in their lives and be dogging their mamas out. So
and let's not forget, some of the black women and
that's right.
how
And
they
so
contribute.
I
How
hope
they
that they're
contribute.
taking their birth control as well. And if they're having unprotected sex, send me a message. I can let you know where you can get on some prep and where you can get all
To protect yourself.
Yes, everything that you need to take care of yourself. If you're gonna do it, you got the money to go over there. You got the money to pay for some good medication to protect yourself. And you know what?
I
Maybe
hope
consider
so.
protecting your spirit a little bit too. But that's
So everybody plays a role. I like that. Protect your spirit. That's a great line.
Because that's the main reason I want to do, and I don't need all that in my
Protect your
spirit.
spirit, your body, your energy. But everybody plays a part in it. A lot of people are participating in it, and so I just hope we just find each other. I like black love just like you. I like to see happy, healthy black couples and families. And people find other people to get married to, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. But now when I heard that all these brothers are going somewhere else to pick up a woman and a lot apparently, And now the black women are doing it too.
But do it because you want to and not because you want to one up black men.
I agree. Talk about equality.
Okay.
There it is. So that's my hot topic. And see if I get some updates on that next time.
I'm gonna see if I can find somebody. I want to see if I can find somebody who's done.
I think we can find some passport bros.
Okay.
I know some people.
I
I don't
don't know.
think
I
it'll come
don't know
on
if
the
we want to
show.
bring them on here and then I end up having to cuss them. I spend a whole hour cussing them out because they say something out the way.
You may not agree with some of their perceptions and theories. I can guarantee that.
As long as you give me access to hang up on them, I'm down.
But I just want black folks to be happy. I want us to find somebody. I love black love. I want us to be together, start families, remain a family, treat each other well. That's what I want. That's what I want. It just sounds like we're working hard and spending a lot of money getting away from that. That's what it sounds like to me. So, but if it makes you happy,
Yeah.
go for it.
I want black love and I want black families to be happy, but also remember how we were talking about me serving my own people first. I want black women to be happy.
All right.
So,
Next month
we're
is
gonna- Women's History Month.
Women's
We're going
History
from Black
Month.
History Month to Women's
but it's
History
still
Month.
Black History Month right now. So
That's right. We got another day and some hours.
I like black love. Let's keep it going. So anything else from you, Dr. Aisha, today?
Just like I said before, protect yourself physically and protect your spirit.
Hallelujah. Because that spirit is no joke.
Okay.
Keep that together. All right,
Yeah.
guys. So it has been great talking with you, Dr. Aisha. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. You're watching Two Therapists and a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I'm Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
And we will see you guys next week, Monday evening at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll see you then. Good night.